Hello, everyone, and welcome to Healthy for Life. This is week 16 of the Healthy for Life program, and I'm so glad that you are here. For those of you involved in the live session, you know this is a recorded version because I'm not in the office today, and also that this is the last of our weekly sessions. So it's week 16. And that means that for those of you who are doing it live, our next live session won't be until August, and it will be August 19th, Thursday, August 19th. And I will follow up with an email for all of you in the live session. So welcome, everyone. I'm going to get our presentation started here. So today we're going to talk about staying in the game, because as you know, staying in the game is about what this is about. This is a long-term process, and we are looking at moving from having a touch base every week to only once a month. So we're transferring some of it back over to you, so these are some tips to hopefully keep you going for the next month. And of course, like we have always talked about, you can definitely connect with a health coach, either me or one of the health coaches at the health center, or we have the nurse health coaches for those who have chronic conditions available through Allegiance Nurse Health Coaching. And then there's also a dietary coaching or dietary counseling benefit that's available. So if you're interested in any of those, you want some more information, then let me know. So what changes have you made? And of course I have to use Calvin, and Calvin is feeling like he's pretty cool at this point, right? So hopefully you've gotten to the point where you can feel like you're pretty cool too, and flex on yourself a little bit, if you will. So just take a second and think about what changes you have made. What has changed in your life and the way that you do things in the last 16 weeks? Anything like that that came to mind just now, just like right away. It's not a test or anything, but just right away. Maybe write it down, make a note of it, text it to yourself. Anything like that, so that you can remember all of the good things that you've done up to this point. And really, giving yourself kudos and pats on the back is so important. And so even if those changes are small, then make sure and give yourself credit for that, because if you had never started this process, then you probably never would have come to where you are right now. So great job, everyone. Of course, as we like to do at the beginning, I want to give you the opportunity to chart your weight, make any notes on how you feel like you did this week. I mentioned it during our presentation last week, but we are interested in getting your weight chart for the first 16 weeks that you are on the program. So if you are interested in sending that to us so that we can use it to add to the evaluations of how effective the program is, then please send it. You can send it to me at kpullman, KPULLMAN @mt.gov. You can fax it to me at area code 406-444-0080. Or you can mail it to me at P.O. Box 200130 in Helena, Montana, 59620. So as soon as you can finish that and email it, fax it, or mail it to me, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you, everyone. So what's next? Now is when you begin to move forward, as I previously said, a little bit more on your own. This is where we take stock of where we are, where we've come from, and then where we'd like to go. It's like driver's education. So if you will, if you think about when someone is learning how to drive, then they have to sit in classes first, and then they go out and they do some hands-on education with people in the car with them. And then eventually they get a learner's permit and they get to be a little more on their own. And then they progress to driving totally on their own, driving other people, doing what they want to do because they can be trusted behind the wheel of a car and they know the rules of the road, if you will. This process is a lot like that process. It's very much where, we come along with you very much at the beginning. We give you the education that you need. And now kind of we're going to send you out with your learner's permit to try it on your own, but still with somebody in the car with you. Just remember that you must begin to trust yourself and celebrate successes on your own in order for this to be long-term successful. This is just another small step towards that. So as I said, we will be switching to monthly webinars. So the next one is a month from now in August, on August 19th, if you are in the live session. Of course, if you're doing this later, and then you will set your schedule according to where you are in the months. And you can add health coaching now if you would like to. You still want to keep up with the goal setting and achieving. So choose goals that you can achieve, that you can do, and that you're willing to do. And of course, the self-monitoring with the food and fitness log and with the weight monitoring, very, very important. So as I said, the weekly weight record, including your most recent weight measurement, please send that along. I gave you that information. It's up to you if you want to send a full week of your log. If you do want to send a full week of your log, then I will look over that for you and I will provide you with feedback. So make sure and attach your contact information if you do want to send me a week of your food and fitness log, and include any specific detail that you might have on there, or specific questions that you have, like, look at this, what do you think about my fruit intake, or whatever the question might be. So these are really both optional. The first one, please, if you can do anything, send me the weight log so I can use it to help evaluate the program. And then the second one is really more for your benefit, if you would like me to take a look at it and provide you with feedback or answer any questions you might have. It's to help you better meet your goals. It's for this program's use only. I don't share it with anybody. It's just like we're doing health coaching. It's confidential information between you and me. Anything I use to modify the program would be aggregate information, and definitely not attributed to any particular person or member. So please be honest and be complete, because that is the best information. All right, so we got a Calvin, right? Find your loophole. So he's taken a test. Explain Newton's first law of motion in your own words. And he has the best idea. And he just writes down gobbledygook on the paper. And he says, I love loopholes. So this is Calvin. He's serious. But it really does have application in real life, as many of Calvin's thought processes do, where you really want to find your loophole. You want to find that thing that lets you do what needs to be done in the easiest, most accomplishable, I know that's not a word, but in the way that you can accomplish it. So loopholes are good. Find the loophole that will let you do what you want to do. So we're going to go over just a couple of different barriers that come up a lot. You probably have already run into a couple of these, and I'm going to give you some ideas for how to get through those. So first is public enemy number one, lack of motivation. This is why a lot of people stop, and we have so much attrition, especially as we go through a year-long program. It's this lack of motivation, right? Santa's tired. He's been working hard. At least Santa only has to do it on one day, right? Unlike you. So staying motivated is one of the biggest challenges for many people. You might have been feeling it yourself. This definitely might be you I'm talking to. As you succeed, so there's kind of two ways that it might go for you. So as you succeed, your source of motivation is removed. You start thinking to yourself, well, I've been losing weight, so I can have a little more of this or that, or I can skip the food and fitness log, even though you're not quite to where you want to go yet. You start thinking, oh, I'm having success. I don't need to be quite so vigilant. So that might be one way that you lose motivation, which seems counterintuitive. If you're having success, you would think that you would want to do it more. But sometimes people go down that road of, well, I'm having success, I don't need to work so hard. Or you're struggling, right? And this is the one that I see most often, honestly, is that you're struggling and you become exhausted. So think about someone who's in the middle of an ocean and they're trying to swim for a boat or something like that. So that's the most common by far that I see, is that people have initial success and then they're having trouble succeeding at this point, or they haven't really seen success up to this point that they would like to see, or not as much as they would like to see. And they really start to struggle in the day-to-day stuff and say, why am I working so hard if there's no benefit? So then you become exhausted and you lose your motivation. So if that was you that I was talking to, like it says, try and lose the excuses. And we've talked through this like multiple different ways during the program, where you say, don't think about it too hard, just do it. Remove the should I, shouldn't I kind of conversation and just do it. Take responsibility for your own situation. That's why we say, I am choosing to do X, Y, Z, right? That's you taking responsibility for the decisions that you make. You can't beat someone who doesn't give up. I've told you this one before. It's one of my very most favorites. So if you don't give up, you will succeed, because you can't be beaten. You cannot beat someone. Think about it. You can't beat someone who won't give up. Make that decision to change. If you need to, make it fresh. If that motivation was waning, sometimes you got to sit down with yourself and you be like, all right, is this still something that I want to do or not? And if the answer is yes, then make that decision. Go from leaning in to jumping in, and then take that action. What's one thing I can do right now to move me closer to where I want to be? Talk yourself into it rather than talking yourself out of it. This was actually something that I use with myself a lot with my balance issues, and I've mentioned those a couple of times, but a lot of it is my brain thinking myself into anxiety, and I start going through these well-worn paths that I know are not beneficial to me, and they don't lead me anywhere good. So what I do to stop that is I think to myself in my head, as you were talking yourself into it, you can talk yourself out of it. It can work either direction. If you're trying to talk yourself into bad habits, you can talk yourself right back out of them too. If you're trying to talk yourself into good habits, then that's what you want to do. You don't want to let yourself talk yourself out of good habits. Visualize your outcome. Remember when we did this? Preparatory sets, or just plain visualization. What's it going to look like a year from now? Maybe take a second and think, if that was something that was beneficial for you when we did it, take a second and think, when I visualized this originally, what it would look like for me, what did I visualize? How far have I come to that? Like, what changes have actually happened? And then visualize what it could look like. What could it look like in another 16 weeks? Visualize that. Jump past the work and visualize what it's going to look like down the road. How great you're going to feel once it's done. People use this to get themselves to the gym or to get themselves through workouts all the time. If you just jump yourself past the workout and think about how you're going to feel when you're done, sometimes that just gets you there, right? It just gets you to the point of taking action. Look ahead, find your own carrot. What is it that is motivating to you? Where's that carrot in your future? Find patterns that work for you. And if this isn't something that you have already written down, it's something that you changed. Remember when we talked about that at the beginning of the presentation? If you haven't already written down something that you changed, successful patterns that you've established, you should definitely write those down, because that will be helpful to your future self and remembering how you did that and what you were doing. So finding patterns that work for you, continuing to modify what you're doing day by day, week by week, season by season, because as you know by now, things change. They just change continually. So we're working on our flexibility and our resiliency to be able to deal with that. And of course, reward yourself. We talked about that last time. We gave you lots of ideas during week 15 about things to do to reward yourself. Go pick yourself flowers, give yourself a bubble bath, give yourself a spa, manicure. Set a time to go for a walk with a friend, whatever it is that's rewarding for you and fills your cup and gives you energy. That's definitely what you want to do. So, though no one can go back and make a brand new start, anyone can start from now. And a lot of you have probably heard this, right? Start from now and make a brand new ending. So often we get caught in the past, we get caught in the future, but really all we have is right now in this moment. So that's what gets you back to that, okay, I'm going to stop analyzing what I did yesterday. I'm going to stop analyzing what I could possibly do tomorrow, and I'm going to think about what I can do right now. What is the thing I can do right now to get me closer to my goal? Just remember, no one can go back and make a brand new start, but anyone can start from now and make a brand new ending. Motivation tips. Keep your focus by making a list and putting it in plain sight. I'm not telling you anything new that we haven't gone over before. It's just like a reminder for you. Remember those lists, that post-it is important, that reminder in your Outlook or on your phone, or however you remind yourself to do that. Those things are important. And if you have a reminder to go for a walk or something like that, you're sure you don't snooze it until you actually do it. That's how I do mine too, to make sure it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. Your focus is super important. That's what you're going for. Try and put on blinders of all the other things trying to take your attention and your time and focus on that. Set your goals and be very realistic. Hopefully up to this point, you have had experience with that, of setting goals and then being like, that wasn't realistic at all. And then modifying that into something that you could actually do. Plan a treat for yourself when you have a good week. That's that reward we were just talking about. Okay, so here's a hard one, but this is the before and after picture that you see a lot when you see like weight loss stories. So if weight loss is why you're in the program, this is the start from now, make a brand new ending. And this isn't something you have to share with anyone else if you don't want to. But if you take a picture of yourself in a swimsuit or form-fitting outfit or something, or if you have an old picture of yourself and you can put that next to a new picture of yourself, keep on taking that picture each month, because that visualization, that picture, that visual stimulus can really help you see the changes over time. And it's really cool. And I know you don't like taking pictures of yourself. I don't like taking pictures of myself. But trust me when I say it's worth it. You will really appreciate the fact that you did that, because you can actually see the changes, because they have a tendency to happen slowly. Like when kids grow, it's like all of a sudden they're grown up. How did that happen? So similar to that, you came from here and you got to there, but you don't have any record of that. I really wish I had a record of where I came from. So that's where that idea comes from. Read inspirational stories of other people who've lost weight. There's a blogger that I have followed for quite a few years. She runs, the website for her is runsforcookies.com. She is very realistic. She has very real struggles. If you look back at the history of her posts, it's really inspiring to see what she's come through and what she's done, and how she's kind of been able to maintain that, the struggles that she continues to go through, and how she's navigating through that. But of course, there's lots of other inspirational stories that are out there. There was a book that I sent in the last email that we mentioned in the last presentation, all sorts of different examples. So just choose the one that works the best for you. Here's some more tips to stay motivated. Post the graph of your weight loss on the refrigerator door. I mean, assuming you want to share it with everyone, or put it someplace that you can see it. Participate in competitions or events. That gives you kind of a little bit of a different goal to keep going. I know one of you mentioned that you're signed up for a triathlon, and that's something that you're training towards. Those kinds of things are really great to do to keep you motivated, right? There's that thing that happens, there's a deadline, and so that it definitely gives you another reason to keep doing what you're doing. Make appointments with friends or family. Talk with them. That social interaction, even if you're not talking about what you're doing with the Healthy for Life program, just that social interaction just is so motivating, and it puts energy back in your cup to keep doing what you want to do. Continue to track your progress and monitor your goals. So important. Don't forget about that. Don't let that weight sneak up on you again. If there's one thing, if you look at that weight loss registry, the one thing that comes up over and over again is, despite the fact that taking our weight often is something that's fraught with pitfalls and landmines, it feels like it's just like a horrible anxiety-inducing experience. Taking that weight is so important to keep track of where you are, especially if you're close to your goal or you're maintaining. Make sure to still continue to keep that weight so it doesn't sneak up on you again. Once per week, maybe once per month, however often you feel like you can do it and doesn't take over your whole life. Try and add variety to what you eat, to the exercise that you're doing, to the goals that you have. Try adding variety. That can really help with your motivation. Celebrate your successes, engage in competition with yourself or others, or call me. I mean, if you need something, there's health coaching, whatever works the best for you. Well, there's some tips for you, some of which you've heard before, some of which might be new. All right, so here's the second problem that people run into. Public enemy number 2, boredom. Think about this. This can definitely get you in a position where you don't want to keep going anymore because you're just so bored. What meals, snacks, or foods are you most bored with? Think about that. And then think of ways to vary your eating. It's an art. And I know that we get to a place where, gosh, I know how many calories is in this. It's easily accessible. I know how to make it. And so you kind of get stuck in those ruts. But try even just a little bit. I mean, it doesn't have to be all the time, but try to introduce a little bit more variety. Try a new dish or ethnic night, vegetarian night, whatever you want your theme to be, just so you might look up a new recipe. Go out to eat. And I put what behind that because earlier we talked about how going out to eat is fraught with danger and calorie-laden foods, and it still is the case. However, going out to eat is a part of most of our lives. It's a social situation. And so that will include that variety into your routine, and it will provide you with a challenge that maybe you could think of like a competition or something like that. Like, challenge myself to go out to eat at my favorite restaurant, choose something that's good and not overeat, or, something to that point. Chase information. This is that if you're bored, it's because you're not doing something that you're truly interested and engaged with. So what are you truly interested and engaged with? Is it cooking that you want to know more about? Is it physical activity that you want to know more about? Is it the science of weight loss? There's just so many things that you could think about. Those are just the really obvious things that came right to my head. But chase information, be interested, be curious. Magazines, internet classes, friends or family, cooking classes, talking to your friends or family, maybe it's gardening, who knows? Chasing that information will give you more information to base your decisions on, to base your goals on, and as you go through time, you get better and better at it if you're interested in it. Try a share recipe party. Certainly we could do that here. I've tried to share the recipes that you all have given to me. I have one more that was given to me earlier in the program for like a fruit enhancer, if you will. That's really kind of cool. So look for that in the email that I'm going to send. But you can do that. You can do a share recipe party, right? Prepare meals together with a friend or with a family member or coworker. Try new foods. Those are all ways that you can help decrease your boredom and get engaged with the process again. So reward yourself. Here's some more examples of rewards. Rewards can be as simple or as complex as you would like them to be. You can go for a walk and then I'll call a friend and chat, or better yet, just call your friend and chat while you're walking. I'll have a wonderful healthy meal and then I'll take a bubble bath. Maybe that's a reward. I'll keep track of my food for a week and then I'll buy myself flowers. I'll save the money I'd have spent eating out, buying that double sugary coffee drink, buying snack foods, whatever it is, and I'll buy a fill in the blank instead. Maybe you want a new pair of running shoes. Maybe you want a new outfit. Maybe you're saving towards a new car. You want to renovate your kitchen, or, it can be small things. It can be big things. Whatever it is, that reward is there. So choose a reward, a non-food reward, and those are some examples what those are. So hopefully that gave you some ideas for kind of two of the big pitfalls, the lack of motivation and the boredom that people run into. And it's especially hard to overcome those kind of when you're on your own instead of in this class each week. And things kind of start to filter down as other priorities come up. So there's some ideas for you for conquering those barriers. So hopefully there was something in there that was helpful to you. So please continue to meet your goals. Continue to review and revise your goals as you move forward. Write them down. You might want to put a reminder on your calendar, on your phone. Think about what day a week during the week will work best for you, just to take a couple minutes just to think about it, just to pull it out, think about it, say, okay, what are my goals for this week? What's happening? Remember, saying them out loud can help reinforce it. Writing it down can help reinforce it. All of those things. I don't know about you or if you've ever tried this, but when I write things down and when I say them out loud, I'm so much more likely to do them and get them done. It's amazing. If there's something at work or at home or with a process like this that I am just not doing, the trick that I do is I write it down on my list. And then once it's done, then I cross it off of my list. And there's something to my brain that finds it very much easier to remember things when I see them visually. I'm the same way with names as well. But that's just me. But generally speaking, people can remember things better and they're more likely to do them when they speak them, when they write them, when they think about them in their head. All of those kinds of things. So continue to do that. If there's barriers that come up, using that 5 minutes in time, not just to think about what your goals are, but how to surmount barriers. Like did I or didn't I meet my goals last time? If I didn't meet my goals, what was the barrier? Can I get around that? How can I get around that? And just keep tweaking it. Just keep working with it until you can find a way to do it. You got to find your loophole. You got to find your loophole. Reminders in your Outlook calendar, reminders on your phone, write them down, post them on your mirror, schedule them into your day. You need to schedule yourself into your day, all of those things. Remember all of this, right? You remember all of this, don't you? This is how we stay in the game. You have the information. You have the information. Now it's time for you to go drive on your own. And then as we come back together month to month, you can bring back that feedback and we can troubleshoot as we need to or whatever to get you better. All right, so remember to send us a copy of the weight chart and a week of your food and fitness log if you'd like my feedback on that. Do what you've decided to do to meet your goals. Record your food, fitness, and weight in your log at least 1 week this month. More than that if you can. Remember that our last weekly meeting is today. We're switching to monthly meeting for the next 6 months. So our next meeting won't be until August 19th if you're in the live session, or according to your schedule if you're doing these recordings. And of course, you have to finish with Calvin. Really no words for this one. So I'm here for you, right? You're here for me. I depend on you. You depend on me in this whole circumstance. Even though we're not face to face and you don't have to listen to me talk every single week, just know that I'm still here. Please, please reach out to me. Don't let it fall to the wayside. If there's some other barrier that's come up besides motivation or boredom, or the ideas that are there just weren't enough, then please reach out to me, to another health coach, friend, family, doctor, whoever it might be, and we'll help get you through there. If your desire is there, then your help is here. So we've done our dance, and now you can take your bow and off you go. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope you have a great month. We'll talk to you later.